just a fighter in me. I got a fire in me. We pray for the thrill, so run for your life. We are the storm, it's time to lock up and hide. We're in for the kill, we're here for the high. This is our kingdom and we're ready to fight. We're born animals. We're born animals. We're born animal. You're on the back foot now and getting out. No sharper, ready to take our aim. You're gonna know our name. I wake up showing my teeth, it's just the fire in me. I got a fire in me. We pray for the thrill, so run for your life. We are the storm, it's time to lock up and hide.
If the goal is make the playoffs, then you make the playoffs, and then there's a little bit of a letdown. What's the mindset right now going to New York?
I mean, first of all, 90% of the people in MLS didn't expect us to be here. So for us, we've achieved, a milestone. But as you see, everyone is in high spirits. Everyone is focused. The word in the streets, we're not done. We're going. We're winning and advancing. So yeah, we have to take it, serious. We can't say count our eggs before it hatch. But I mean, we want this. We want to achieve, the full and the maximum achievement, which is to win the MLS Cup. But we start with the quarterfinals on Monday.
Damien, there's obviously a lot of talk about the stadium situation. Obviously, it's not ideal to play a playoff match on a baseball field if that's the case. What's your thought on that?
To be honest, we're preparing for the game. We're preparing for New York, City FC. We're not preparing for the field, so it doesn't matter where we play. We're going to prepare. We're going to stick to our game plan. To be honest, for now, I think it's Red Bull Arena, so as a team, and me personally, I'm not really focused on where we're going to play. It's what you do on the day. It's the conditions. It's unacceptable. It's not predictable. Unpredictable. It could rain, it could snow, it could have lightning delay. You never know, but you still have to be prepared for the game. So you just have to stick to what we know, stick to the coach's instruction, and the goal is to go in and win the game.
Have you found it weird when you played other stadiums that aren't football stadiums, like soccer stadiums? Is it different, like your eyesight and stuff like that? Vision?
Not so much, no. It's not like you have football lines or anything like that. Yeah, it's just a smaller pitch. So, sometimes tactics are different, but that's up to the coach and what he wants us to do. For us, we're footballers, we have to be prepared either way, because even sometimes the coach gives you tactics and then you go out there and it's a totally different thing. You have to be able to adjust. It's not like the NFL where you can hit a timeout, Your brain has to be going, 90 miles per hour.
But does it change how you train? If you were playing on a narrow outfield of a baseball stadium, it's different than if you're playing on a full width field, right? So does it affect your preparation for the game at all?
Not so much. Maybe, maybe because for us, we're a dynamic team. We could be a pressing team, we could be mid-press team, we could be a counteracting team. So for us, you've seen all season, we've played against New York, we played against Seattle on a football field. So again, we just have to prepare as a team personally on what we want to achieve, and which is to win the game and stick to our game plan. And wherever we play, we just have to go and play regardless. So us talking about it doesn't matter because we're going to have to play the game.
Does it concern you at all that the back line gave up 2 goals so quickly in the last game, or is that just a one-off that you flushed down the toilet?
No, it's not the first we've gave up 2 goals. Again, we're focused on the playoffs. The regular season is over. Again, nobody expected us to be where we are. We're here. So that's what we're focused on, the quarterfinals.
We saw you come out at halftime of the game on Sunday. How are you physically? Are you ready to go? Did you have a problem? Why did you come out?
I'm ready to go. Yeah, fully fit, ready.
You talk about Gonzalo and how his resurrection has, basically coincided with the success that your team has had toward the end of the season.
Gonzalo is a legend, man. His quality and his experience that he brings to the team is immense. It's, we can't give him enough, praise and thanks. It's just to be in his, presence and being able to train with him day in, day out. He's brought so many goals for our team and came up big for us in the past game. So you want your striker to be on fire at this point of the year, and it has shown. It has brought us all the way up to 6th place in the league with the compliments of other players. But Gonzalo's impact, he's well respected around the club and in the locker room, and we're just grateful to have him.
Big games, you need your big players to step up, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
And, because of what you just mentioned, that nobody expected you guys to make it to the playoffs. Is this a situation where you're playing with no pressure in the playoffs? You feel like you have already a successful season?
No, we can't. We can't settle. We can't be satisfied. But again, it's everything to gain, nothing to lose. We want more. That's just the mentality.
Are they the favorites here in the matchup?
Yeah, I guess they're the favorites. We're into Miami. We're just focused on ourselves. Go stick to our game plan. I mean, if people want to call us the favorites, then that's on them. If they want to call New York City the favorites, okay. But it's what happened at the end of the game.
Did you practice the penalty?
Yeah, we practiced a little bit today. Just some fun, get loose again. We got 2 days off, just to flush the system and forget about football, spend time with the family. Today was just a fun day to just get back into rhythm.
From New York, what specific challenges do they pose, that team, the way they play and their specific players?
They're a good pressing team. They're a good footballing team. I mean, they lost their main guy, so that's a plus for us. But we beat them at home, so we know their weaknesses and we know the qualities that the players that we have and what we bring and the form that we're in. Again, one game that won't define our season, So again, the regular season is over, and we're taking this game full head on, full steam ahead.
Damien, is the team preparing at all? Like extra time? Like what's the mindset? Are
Yeah.
you focusing on that as well? Is time?
Of course, yeah.
You get to that point where 90 minutes could be stretched to 120 and then even
Yeah.
penalty kicks. How's the team preparing for that as well?
Yeah, it's changed. Back in the day, it used to be 2 legs. Now it's 1 leg. So you have to prepare for that. Today we kicked around a little bit just to get in the frame of mind, but we want to finish the game in 90 minutes. But if it comes to penalties, then okay, we're ready. We'll be ready. We'll be prepared. So yeah, of course you have to think about that.
You seem like a relaxed kind of guy. Do you feel pressure? Do you feel like a difference with these kind of games, or is it just like another game for you?
For me personally, it's another day on the job. Obviously it's a big moment and it's an important milestone in my career and in the club's future and what they want to achieve and what we want to achieve. But yeah, I mean, again, there's everything to gain, nothing to lose. You want to play these games. If you want to be a world-class player, if you want to be a big-time player and to be remembered in history, you want to play in these games, so you can't be nervous. You just have to go out there and enjoy a day on the job, and fight till the end, and fight for the crest on your chest.
Good. Great.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, boss.
were having a good chat then as well.
Okay. Now we're joined by head coach Phil Neville.
Morning. We're obviously start of one of the biggest weeks that we've had at this football club, so we're massively excited. It was a great week last week for the whole of the football club, but I think what's really important now is that to stress that we've achieved nothing yet. We've not climbed any mountain yet. We've just probably got to stage one of climbing a mountain, and there's another 3, 4, 5 stages to go. So the feet are firmly on the ground. We've given the players 2 days off, which massively helped. They were absolutely mentally and emotionally exhausted after the game against Montreal. The extra day leading into the game against NYC gives us but 2 extra days probably gives Pozuelo and Campana a real chance. Pozuelo's ahead of Campana. He was with the team this morning. Pozuelo doing the warm-ups, and the slight technical still feels a large percentage of the injury. So we're going to have to take it really easy with him. And the thing I'd say about Pozuelo and Campana, that they'll only play if they're 100% fit. I think we've got enough players in the squad that are in good form, that are 100% fit, that we will only play for players that are 100% fit. And so he's got a lot of boxes to tick this week. Both players will have. But we're looking forward to it. It's a playoff situation that we feel like we've been in for the last 6 or 7 weeks of must-win games, gigantic games, do-or-die games. And you go back to the US Open Cup games that we had. There was a different smell in the air. It's a cup competition now, and I think it's massively exciting. We're playing against a brilliant team. Playing against a friend. So has its challenges, and I think all we need to know now is where we're playing. I think that's the biggest thing, where we're playing, so we can book hotels, we can book flights, we can let our supporters know, and then we can go and play wherever we play. We're looking forward to it against a really top team. They're the massive favourites for the game, we're the massive underdogs, and I'm absolutely have no doubt that my players won't let me down.
We'll start with questions now. Michelle Kaufman.
Okay. You just alluded to it, but how does it affect preparation at all, not knowing the field, even as far as tactically, the width of the field you're going to be playing on, and then as far as all the logistics, where the team is going to stay, the transportation, with 5 days ahead, when do you expect to know? And maybe you could call your friend, the coach, and ask him.
Yeah, well, I got an email yesterday saying the game was at New York Red Bulls. That was from our official match email that we get every week with the colours of the kit we're wearing, the referees, the fourth officials, the VAR assistants, the timings for the game. So I thought that decision had already been made. It obviously isn't. Where we're actually playing actually doesn't bother me. Playing the top of the Empire State Building in a playoff game. But I think what probably people don't understand is that we've got a probably travelling party of 55 people. To get hotel rooms in New York for 55 people with 3 days to go is near impossible. We've already lost one booking in a hotel that we really liked. We're now obviously waiting, because if we're at City Field we stay in a certain hotel. If we're at New York Red Bulls we're in a certain hotel, and there are obviously deadlines financially for that, and that's something that obviously the league will have to help us with, because it's nothing to do, no fault of our own. But I suppose it's just the logistics, the inconvenience for supporters and for families that have already bought tickets at the stadium. They've probably staying in hotels out in New Jersey, in Harrison, and I suppose that's the biggest gripe, is that we cannot book a hotel or our travel yet, and we cannot let, more importantly, our supporters know where the game is, because people like to organise. And it's not a pre-season scrimmage. This is a playoff game. In 4 years' time, we've got a World Cup coming to this great country, and I think things like this need to be looked at, because this is organisation. There's nothing to do with football. This is organisation, and my feeling is that I feel as if it's dead simple. If I was New York City, I'd want to go to the stadium that would suit the club and the supporters. So you make a call, you ask a question, can we play at City Field, and it's a yes or a no. And that's why I can't really comprehend the delay, the 72 hours, because we knew this on Monday. It's now Wednesday, and we're still getting emails saying that the game is at New York Red Bulls. We're still getting communication that the game is at New York Red Bulls, and New York City are sending out information that it's at City Field. So somewhere along the line, somebody in a leadership position in the league has to lead on this, and we're just waiting. And like I say, the venue does not bother us one bit, even though I don't think it's a great look for the league playing on a baseball venue. But it's a game of football, and we want to play the game of football against a really good team with good players. And I think, from my point of view, I'd like to go home tonight and tell my wife where to book our hotel to come and watch her son and husband playing a playoff game. That's basically it. That's my frustration.
Ian?
Thanks, Rafa. Phil, from the tactical standpoint, they've moved a lot more defensively since Tati left in summer. That was his last game was against you guys. What have you seen in terms of how much more comfortable they are really just sitting back, and how do you've wanted to put a lot of your attackers on and using that formation. How do you keep the pressure up on them that way?
Well, I think obviously when we played them last, it was Castellanos' last game. And with him in the team, they were a massive threat going forward. They had players in the pockets, the 7s and 11s and the 10s, and Tati was obviously a fantastic striker in this league, and they could be really aggressive in the way that they attacked. I mean, I think what Nick did, he then probably tried to continue that, but realised without the main man up front, they were going to they were letting in goals. And I think what he did is he got his players back fit. Because I really thought he was thrown in at the deep end with a team that had lost the centre forward and not replaced him. Then they had injuries, then they had suspensions, and he's found a formula to win the last 3 or 4 games. And I hope, and I think he deserves to be given that chance, that job on full-time basis, because he's an outstanding coach. But he's also changed a little bit how they play, and he's had to adapt, and that's what you have to do. Because of the loss of a centre forward, he's added probably another player in at the back. He's got his best players on the pitch. Callan, Chanot, Martins, the 2 fullbacks are all good players. So you think to yourself, put your best players on the pitch, and that's what we've done. We've got to a point in the season where we had to attack, we had to win games, and we put our most technical attacking players that were in the best form on the pitch. And I feel as if that's the way that we have to keep going forward. Our team has got momentum. Our team has got a belief. And that belief comes from that aggressive way that we've been playing, and we want to continue that on Monday night, because it's not a game where you can play for a draw. It's not a game where 100% we're not going to play for penalties. It's a game where we're going to come out like we've done the last 5 or 6 games and try and blitz the opposition. And there's my father used to always say to me when I had any fear going into a game or into a football or cricket game, he says, "Son, if you're going to die, please die trying." And that's what we're going to do. We're gonna put everything into it.
We'll go to Jose, then Steve, then Andrea.
Coach, in terms of the dimensions of the field, does it change a lot the way you train this week? I mean, it could be completely different from what you're used to, what you play at Red Bull Arena before. Now in Citi Field, it might be the first time Inter Miami is there. How does that change the approach tactically for you?
Well, I think until we know where the venue is, we're just gonna look after ourselves. I think when we played in the Yankee Stadium, probably the smallest pitch in the league width-wise. So we've got experience of that. We are going to go to New York at match day -2, which is something that we've done on the road quite a bit. I think every time we've done it, we've had successful results. So we feel as if the players like to get camped in early, and we probably have a bit of a team social 2 days before the game, and we make a little bit of a road trip out of it. And I think the players enjoy that. So we're going to get there early. We'll probably have a look at the venue ourselves, depending on where. I hope we'll know by Sunday, and we're just going to go there and have fun. That's the biggest thing that we've had over the last 6 weeks. We've had a lot of fun, and we've had to overcome a lot of obstacles. And the biggest obstacle on Monday won't be the pitch; it'll be the team that we're playing against, because they're a quality team.
In terms of going to the venue the day before, is that something that you request? Is that something?
The players don't like doing it. We try to do it in San Jose or in DC, and because I looked at our away form and thought, we've got a lot of new players in the MLS. They've not seen the stadiums before, so get all that newness out the day before, and they just went, boss, we just don't want to go. So, like I say, we'll probably have a team meal, match day -2, train somewhere on Sunday morning, and then just relax and just let them enjoy the build up to the game.
Steve, then Andrea.
Is Nick someone you know from way back from Manchester? And
Yeah, well, Nick Harvey was at Man City when he was 10, and Nick was his coach. Nick Cushing was his coach. He was his under 10s and under 11s coach. So I got to know him then. And then when I was England Lioness manager, he was the Man City women's manager, and I had 13 of his players. So really, I watched his teams every week. We're close. He's an outstanding coach, and we go a long way back.
Yeah, and just in your experience with these big sort of games, these playoff games, finals, is there anything you could take from, I don't know, being with Fergie at the Champions League final or anything like that sort of sets you up to sort of prepare your team and get them ready? So you said that there's like a difference in the sort of feeling in the air.
Yeah, well, there is always a difference, and I feel as if my experience tells me you just got to prepare like it's just another game, but it never is. It never is. So I think when we used to play in finals and semi-finals and knockout competitions in our careers, we never shied away from the fact that it's a big game. We never shied away from the fact that it was do or die, or the winner takes all. We actually tried to embrace it, and the one thing I learned from Sir Alex from the very early days is don't sit back and defend, just go for it. And I suppose that's the biggest lesson I've taken into management from him is the way that he had no fear going into these games. He never thought about losing. He attacked every situation. And more often than not, he won with that mentality. And I feel as if maybe about 2 months ago, we went into that kind of mentality at this football club. And it's worked so far, and hopefully on Monday it'll work again.
Andrea?
Talking about your coaching style and what you learned, I wanted to ask you, how are you with the players? Are you someone that is strict with them before games like this, that they have to eat at certain hours, they have to be in bed at certain hours? Do you take their phones? I know that's complicated in the age that we live now, but in your time it was not weird.
I'd love to take the phones off them. Yeah.
And a quick one, how is Gonzalo's arm?
Gonzalo's arm's fine. Yeah, I think he had a bit of a strapping on it this morning, but like I think I said to you on Sunday, he's playing with, even if his arm's broken, he's playing. It's funny because, yeah, I do like, I'm the type of manager that likes to control what the players are doing, their nutrition, their sleeping habits, their rest time, their snack times. And we went to San Jose, and it was match day -2, and me, Jason, the technical staff, Chris and Nicky, we always go out to a coffee shop maybe at night, and Jason's got me into, it's called an IPA, it's like a beer. I've never heard it before I came to, and I always have one, the match day -2. And we were just sat, it was lovely, San Jose, it was really quiet, and we were just talking tactics and stuff. And then the next minute, there was about 6 of my players was in the street on them little scooters, the scooters that you pick up, and they all told me that they're in the bed having treatment and all that business. And then I think the first one was Victor Ulloa. Now Victor's the best professional you've ever had. Victor Ulloa, Leo Campana, all the best professionals in the team was zooming down the road on these little scooters at 50 miles an hour. And do you know what? I think I laughed. I was angry and I was laughing at the same time because, I think with young people nowadays, you can't suppress their characters, what they do. It's become part of sort of like the match day -2 ritual in a way that they try and sneak out and get on a scooter and go to see the White House in DC. And I think what's brilliant about our team is that they all do it together. And it's funny because I go to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock on match day -1, and I'll flick on Instagram and they're all at the White House, they're all in a park in Columbus, so they all go out together. And people say, oh, well, they're walking there. I say, yeah, but they're all together. They're all sharing memories together. They're creating memories. And that's something that I learned with the Lioness team, is that creating memories is part of a successful team. And I never, ever, ever want to stop them doing that. So I try not to suppress them, but I also want to influence them in preparing right for the right occasion.
So there's no curfew? There's no curfew in New
I'm a manager that never ever has made any rules, because I go off the rule of trust, and they know that. I always think that's the best rule. To respect and trust is the best rule. So I never ever in my career, at Manchester United or Everton, or in my management career, have I set a curfew. We've been to New York. My players know the magnitude of this game. They know what works for them. If some like to go out for a walk, that's fine. Some like to go out for a coffee. Some like to stay in and play PlayStation, watch Netflix. I trust them in everything that they do, and we have got a team of people that want to do the best things all the time. And I think most of the people in here have got children. I think trust and respect is the best thing. When you set a time for people to come in, it always gets broken. You probably know with your own children, and you know from yourself is that it's 10:01. So what are you going to do with them at 10:01? So I work.
Was it difficult to get to this point because you were a professional player in an era that was different? Now you can check Ariel's Instagram, Emerson's Instagram.
It's impossible. It's impossible. I would not like to play in this era because you cannot get away with anything. I know everything that they do. That's part of what I enjoy being a manager for. Is I like to know every bit of their lives, their wives, their girlfriends, their cats, their dogs, where they live, the car they drive, the problems, the successes that they have. We had I met all the families on Sunday after the game, and it's important to know their backstory, because their backstory tells you a lot about what motivates them, and so we know every facet of their life. That's part of management nowadays, not just to see whether they can kick with their right foot or left foot. It's what they're doing in their lives, because what they're doing in their lives has an effect on what they do on a football field. So that's not going to change. But what I would say for a footballer nowadays, and for a high-profile player in the public eye, it is impossible to go out there and really do wrong. And if you go out there and do wrong, you're a very silly person.
It's cool that they saw you having a beer.
Yeah, well, the beer went under the table because they see me as a teetotal manager that prides himself on his fitness, because I go out running every day. So they caught me. They caught me rather than me catching them. So yeah, they'll never catch me on a scooter though.
Thank you, Coach. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.
Hey, Ari, congratulations, first of all, making the playoffs. Two-part question, if you don't mind, kind of related. You guys don't officially know yet if the game's at Red Bull Arena, if it's at Citi Field. Does it affect your mentality and your preparation at all as a player, knowing or not knowing exactly what the venue is? And then number two, what is the general team mentality right now? There's always kind of a danger that a team that's so dying to make the playoffs makes the postseason, and then it's like, okay, we've reached our goal, and there's a letdown. What is the team mentality right now going to New York?
Yeah, well, I mean, not too sure. I mean, we've been told Red Bull Arena from the beginning, but as a player, you know, we're just focused on what we need to do. It doesn't matter where we play. We have to go over there and get the job done to get into the next round. From a team standpoint, everybody's, you know, excited, happy to be in this position. Of course, over the weekend, it was a tough loss, but, you know, now we can wrap our heads around what's next, and we know that we can't be complacent, and we have to step out on the field and be 100% mentally, physically, emotionally for what's ahead. So New York City is our opponent, and we're looking to go over there and go on to the next round. Jose?
Hola, Ari. Quisiera preguntarte más o menos en esa línea también de la cancha, sobre todo porque tú eres un jugador que juega por los costados y normalmente en una cancha de béisbol los costados son los que sufren de espacio. ¿Cómo cambia eso tu óptica del partido? Y una segunda rapidita, no me van a dejar pasar los aficionados de la liga, no sé si te enteraste, pero ayer clasificaron a la final de la liga con CACAF, no sé si tienes algunas palabras, sé que te quieren mucho allá en Costa Rica.
Sí, bueno, obviamente la cancha, si es que vamos a jugar en una cancha de béisbol, es más pequeña. La dinámica es totalmente diferente. Tengo que buscar diferentes espacios. Un jugador como yo, que juego por las bandas. No, pero yo siento que con la calidad que tenemos, de los jugadores que tenemos, no importa dónde sea, podemos ir allá, sacar el resultado que queremos y sacar una victoria. Y bueno, para todos, la afición de la liga y todos los jugadores, felicidades, porque eso no es fácil, ¿verdad? De llegar a ese punto, y feliz de que ellos pueden tener la oportunidad de ganar otro trofeo, ¿verdad? Y seguir pasando. Y bueno, extraño estar allá, pero estoy feliz aquí, entonces bendiciones y abrazo a todos de allá en Costa Rica.
We'll go to Steve and then Ian.
Phil was just talking about sort of unity in the squad, you guys going out on scooters and, you know, the other guys hanging around. Just have you noticed as the season's gone on that the group has come sort of closer together and there's like a good feeling with everyone?
Yeah, I mean, the club made a lot of changes in the preseason and throughout the season. I think we found our rhythm. I think that has to do a lot with the chemistry that we have off the pitch. You know, a lot of the boys like to get together, whether if it's relaxing or golfing or whatever the case may be. We are very united in that sense, and I think that shows on the pitch. You know, we all sacrifice for each other, help each other, motivate each other to try to be the best that we can on the field, and I feel like it's showing. So I think all that stuff is very important, and especially going into playoffs where we need everyone to be at 100%.
We'll go to Ian, then Michelle, then Andrea.
Thanks, Rafa. Hey, Ari. NYCFC has gotten very good at pinching teams in, and especially with those wingbacks, Cal and Gray, have been really successful for them. How do you, with the narrower pitch, how do you get past just beating them with pace? You have to be a little more technical. What can you do to move the ball around to get around those guys?
Yeah, like I was saying, you know, we have to be a little bit more dynamic in the way that we play. We're not going to be able to use all the wide spaces, but we have to use as much of the pitch as we can. It's about some players coming in short, other players going long, you know, different tactics and trying to find different spaces underneath and maybe shooting from further out, you know, drawing out lines, drawing out players to open up different spaces. But yeah, they do very well in those scenarios. But like I said, it doesn't matter where we play. We got to go over there. We have to fight, and it's playoffs now, so it's always 50-50. You never know what you get, but we're going to go over there and try to do our job.
Sure.
That togetherness and spirit that you're talking about away from the pitch, is that something that you think was instilled by Phil? Is that something that was instilled by some leaders on the team, or did it just kind of happen organically this year? Because it didn't seem to be the case last year.
You know, I definitely think Phil plays a big role in that and the coaching staff, but it also takes everyone in the squad to really buy into that. You know, if you have one or two players that don't, then it all falls apart. But I definitely feel that every single one of us, whether big role, small role, have played a big part in that, in trying to grow together, get to know each other. Because when you do that, it gives you that little bit of extra push on the field, you know, to run that extra sprint, make that extra pass, or whatever it may be, for the guy standing next to you, and that goes a long way on the pitch.
One follow-up on that. Gonzalo's turnaround, his kind of resurrection, his attitude change that he's even talked about. Phil's talked about it. How much did that influence this, you know, this sort of team spirit when he started dressing up for the fashion show and he started making sprints, defending, you know, how much did that change affect the team?
Yeah, well, when a player like that, when you see the drive and where he wants to get to and where he wants the team to be at the end of the season, which is holding up a trophy, and putting in those little efforts. You know, the fashion show is nothing, but, you know, it's something fun that we like to do. And being out there on the pitch is what we love, and he's really taking it by the scruff of the neck as far as being a part of the team and being a real leader with every single one of us. And for us, it's the cherry on top to let him go out as a champion, you know, and he wants that more than anything, and we want to see him happy at the end of the season.
Is that, so that's an extra motivator, like win
Of course.
for Gonzalo.
Of course.
Andrea.
Ahora yo te tengo dos rápidas. Lo vimos practicando penales hoy. ¿Eso es algo que tienen decidido quiénes van a ser los 5 penaleros en el caso que hagan solo 5 penales? ¿O es algo que Phil les ha dicho que decidirán en el momento? ¿A ti te gusta decir, yo puedo tomar la pelota y decir, yo puedo tirar un penal? Y segundo, hablando de la escuela, una rápida, va a ser un clásico centroamericano. Tú que pasaste allá tantos años, no se te dio el título, pero ¿crees que es bueno para el fútbol de Centroamérica este tipo de torneos en donde tienen a 2 de los equipos más grandes compitiendo por el título?
Sí, bueno, sobre los penales, siento que es difícil, ¿no? Porque a veces un entrenador tal vez tenga sus 5, pero en el momento tal vez un jugador no se siente confiante de ir a tirar uno, pero todo depende en el momento. Yo siempre he sido un jugador que no importa lo que ha pasado dentro del partido, yo siempre quiero ser dentro de los 5 de ir a tirar un penal. Bueno, sobre lo de la liga y el torneo, es súper importante, ¿no? No solo para el equipo, la institución, para Costa Rica también, y para los jugadores, para que ellos puedan sobresalir, para que podamos enseñar todo a Centroamérica, Norteamérica y el mundo del talento que tenemos en Costa Rica y también en la liga.
Perfect. Thank you, Adi, and thank you to all the media members.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Record.